and welcome everyone. I am super excited to share a bit of prospecting knowledge with everyone here. And first things first, I'm so sorry that I can't be there live, but I really hope that my recording gives you as much value as possible. If you, in the meantime, have any questions about the system, about what I'm doing, please feel free to reach out to me via LinkedIn. Helena Klaus, I'm always here to help, always here to answer questions. But I'd say, without further ado, let's start with talking about how to build a replicable outbound machine in simple 4 steps. Alrighty. I hope everyone can see my screen, but to start with all of the insights, some of you might wonder, who am I? Like, who is that person talking right now? My name is Helena Klaus. I am born in a small town in Germany, then I moved to Berlin when I was 16. And while graduating from school, I started my acting career. So since 16 years old, I have been working as an actor, and then studied in London, studied in New York, came back to London, moved to London, and have been working as an actor and voiceover artist over there. However, with 2020, obviously a big pandemic came, and then the theaters and film industries closed. And with that, I had to reinvent myself and found my way into sales. And this is why I'm here today. I started as an SDR, sales development representative. I was the one cold calling, cold emailing, etc., German-speaking prospects. And for those who have ever tried to tackle the DACH market, it is a little different to others. So I really had to be a bit creative, and then worked my way up to account executive. Have been working as an account executive until I co-founded my first company, SDRs of Germany, which I exited last year, and then founded my now company, Sales in DACH, which is focusing on enabling sellers in the DACH market to hit target. And one big part of this is generating pipeline. So I have a question for you guys. Do you know what 8, 88, and 100 means? 8 is the seconds how much our prospects have an attention span. Not only our prospects, actually all of us. Our attention span is 8 seconds. A goldfish has 9 seconds of an attention span. That is the world we're living in right now, especially because of the phone, social media, etc., etc. The moment something loads, I already exit the page, right? So 8 seconds attention span. 88% of B2B buyers buy from trusted advisors, not from typical sellers. Again, we have to keep that in mind when we cold call someone, when we reach out to someone. And 100 milliseconds. It takes 100 milliseconds for someone to make an opinion if they think you're trustworthy, you're likable, or you're competent. That's called thin slicing. This is a survival mode for us to decide, are you a friend or are you a foe? I'm not sure yet. These 3 numbers, they're key for our outreach. They're key for our prospecting. So keep that in mind while we are building your prospecting machine in the next 20 minutes, 15 minutes. You follow four steps: who, how, what, and why. For those who know Simon Sinek, I know it's all about why comes first, why, then how, then what. But we currently turn that around, and I show you what I mean with that. The first question that you have to ask yourself is, who are you reaching out to? Who is that person? And my first exercise for you to do after my session is the hot seat. Hot seat with your ICP. Get a colleague in the room and you pretend to be your ICP, ideal client customer profile. So if your ideal customer profile, your ICP, is a head of sales, like for us, I would pretend to be a head of sales, and my colleague would ask me questions like, I've also prepared those for you, questions like, what did you have for breakfast? Do you have children? When did you wake up today? When do you work out? What's your favorite workout? Etc., etc., etc. This is solely to understand that when we pick up the phone and we type in the number and we call the person and that person picks up, we don't think about the lead that just came in through an event, through an MQL, or because I saw that they're currently going through something, etc., etc. That lead doesn't become a head of sales. That lead becomes Susan. Susan with 2 children who probably has a very stressful day because it's the last week of the month, and we all know end of month for head of sales is a lot. And that is what I want to see and hear, because they will hear it in your voice. They will hear it and see it in your messaging, that you care about them, not about the title, not about the lead, not about your target. Coming back to the 888 100, 88% of buyers, B2B buyers, buy from trusted advisors. A trusted advisor is only the person who sees the person they advise, not try to sell their own agenda. So, first exercise for you guys after this event: go out, find a colleague, and then do a role play. First, you get asked questions, and then you ask your colleague questions, and then you guys pretend to be your ICP to really understand what is behind the professional mask. Afterwards, you create your own master list. We always do that in Google Sheets. So when we go into teams and we teach teams on how to build outbound machines, this is the task that takes the longest. You can spend weeks on it because you really, really, really go deep into what exactly is the overall view of their life. So what you do is you have 6 columns. You start with your persona. So for me, for instance, it's a head of sales. You define their goals. What are their overall goals? Goals can be personal and business goals. So one of their goals might be they want to grow revenue. The other one might be they want to get a promotion. Growing revenue to hit the revenue goal, that is a business goal, and then getting a promotion is a personal goal. Both is interesting to use, especially when you cold call someone or when you reach out to someone. Then you go into the problem, the pain point, their problem, their pain point, your solution, and their benefit. Let me just show you how that looks filled out based on Sales in DACH. Sales in DACH, one of our key personas, one of our ICPs is head of sales. The head of sales has a huge goal, and that is achieve growth targets. So they might have an investor in the company and they know within 2026 they have to grow by 50%, whatever. This is a goal that you want to know about, and then create scalable processes because they want to grow fast. So they need to have scalable processes to grow sustainably. That's one of the goals. Problem with that specifically is they have a hypergrowth, but no time for sales training. So no time for sales enablement. That's a problem. The pain point, and this is where you have to be careful when you fill that out for yourself. The pain point is the consequence out of the problem. Longer ramp ups, missed goals, high costs, low sales, missing growth, missing revenue. So the pain point is often linked, or is the reason why they don't hit the goal. Or the problem is the reason why they don't hit the goal. The pain point is the consequence. The consequence is the reason why they buy from you. Sorry, that is right. And then from there, you go into, okay, cool. I understand here you want to go. You're currently here. There is a problem. The reason why you don't hit it, which has that specific consequence, which is why you don't hit your goal. So now let's go back, and I have a solution for you to solve all of this to get to your goal. And that, in that case, is masterclasses, 100% on demand, all topics relating sales in DACH. New sellers receive individual support on demand and live. So that's a solution. I'm not mentioning sales in DACH. I'm saying I have the solution. You don't have time for a hyper growth. Alrighty, I have on-demand and live coaching for you where you don't even have to spend a second on, that we spend time with your team. And what we see, your benefit is 20% more pipeline in 4 weeks, and you save 30% more than 30% every week of your time. You get 30% of your time back to focus on your goals. So again, this covers the goal. They want to achieve the growth. Cool. We achieve the growth for you. They want to create scalable processes. No worries. We create scalable processes that you don't have to invest time in it anymore. And based on that, you can start writing your first cold outreach. So in this case, this could be an email or this could be a cold call. As a cold call or as an email, if you read it, it's, "Hi Suzanne, Helena here from Sales in Dach. I saw you growing your sales team. Massive congrats. A lot of teams in that phase struggle with long ramp-up phases and missing targets because their new ramps just don't get enough structured training. And sales leaders usually don't have time to fix it themselves. Do you already have something in place for that, or should I share an idea I had for you?" Here, keeping it small, keeping it short. We don't want to overwhelm. We don't want to come and it's like, "Hi, Suzanne, I'm from Sales in Dach. We are a da-da-da-da-da. This is what we do. This is what our customers..." No one bloody cares because you haven't touched what they want to do. I see there's a trigger event. In that case, I saw they're recruiting sellers. That means they are growing. That's the goal. That means with the growth, there is a lot of problem. There are pain points with it. I have the solution. Let's talk. We're not even pushing about the customer success story. We don't push about us. We push about their situation. Having said all of this, I want you to know one thing. This is not theory. This is what I did beginning of this year when I started my second company. I had zero company brand, I had zero pipeline, and following these steps, it helped me to go from 0 to 120,000 euros in 4 weeks, with an average deal size of 5K. Just so you know, what I'm telling you is what I went through as well. So as soon as you have your sheet ready, you can start doing your outreach. But, and then we come to the second part, how? What does that mean? How is the cadence? Let me just get up the slide very quickly. How is the sales cadence? If you don't know what a sales cadence is, then just imagine a domino effect. The first domino you start, that's a manual effect. That's the first email. That's the research. That's you creating the first message that's relevant to the person. And then from then, it's going automatically, step by step, through follow-up emails, and then it reminds you of calls, it reminds you of socials like LinkedIn touch points, etc., etc. One key thing with this is like I in terms of tools, if you're not sure where to start, I always recommend Lemlist. I use Lemlist myself. They are a great tool to combine emails, cold calls, and LinkedIn in one step-by-step cadence. Some people call it sequence. Other people use SalesLoft. I used SalesLoft before, and I got on very well with that as well. So if you have any questions about this, please reach out. I am here for you. But before I show you the cadence that we've been using, I want to talk to you about something very basic, and that is sorry, that was German. The cognitive psychology you want to use in your sales cadence. So, research shows a normal cadence takes around 9 to 12 sales touch points to book in the first meeting. A touch point means on day 1, you send a connection request on LinkedIn. On day 2, you send an email. On day 3, you like a post. On day 4, you do a cold call. That's 4 touch points. So every time you touch your prospect. So 9 to 12 touch points. What we want to do with these touch points is we don't want to make each and every one different. We don't want to send an email that pushes one agenda, then do a cold call that actually says a complete different agenda, etc., etc. In the end, you write one perfect first email, which you recycle in your LinkedIn content, in your cold call, etc., etc. You always come in with the same messaging. And the reason why that is because of 3 simple psychological facts. So, number 1, The truth effect. The truth effect is what happens when we see something often enough. When we see something often enough, when we hear something often enough, we believe it's true. The way they found out about this is through an experiment they did in 1977 when they invited many people in, and over 6 weeks, they every 2 weeks gave them 60 different statements. 20 of those statements were repeated over those 6 weeks. However, they said those statements can be true and can be not true. And you have to tell us how likely you think the statement is true. The interesting part about this, so statements would be something like the Chinese Republic was built 1947. Something that could be true, but also you're not 100% sure. The interesting thing about this experiment is by the end of those 6 weeks, the 20 statements that kept coming every time they came back, 10 of them were true, 10 of them were not true. But those 20 statements were significantly more probable for the volunteers compared to the other 40 that were said. So they could see that more often they heard it, the more likely they thought this is true. This is called the truth effect. Then we have the mere exposure effect. The mere exposure effect is something that the Krogs used. The more we see something, the more we like it. When I saw Crocs the first time, I thought, no freaking way is that ever gonna survive. And now my parents have it, my sisters have it, literally everyone around me owns Crocs. And their statement was, ugly can be beautiful. Their marketing was so brilliant that you saw it everywhere. So at some point, you kind of liked it. That's the mere exposure effect. And the last one is our confirmation bias. So we hear something often enough, something that Donald Trump, for instance, used a lot in his presidential election as well. When he speaks, he repeats a lot of things. So our truth effect comes in because a lot of people think what he says is not true because they heard it over and over again. Something that you can use brilliantly in marketing is something you can use brilliantly in your outreach, because your confirmation bias is your brain wanting to be right. So as soon as you made the decision to say, yep, it's true, yep, I like it, and no, you can't convince me to not like it. That is exactly what we do in our cadence. This is a cadence that we, for instance, use when we reach out to people. Day 1, we have a LinkedIn connection request. Day 2, we send a LinkedIn voice note. Why? Because we go back to the 88% of B2B buyers who want to buy from trusted advisors. Hence, when we reach out, there is an emotional part in it. They hear you and they feel you already, not just see an email. So if you can do that, highly recommend. If you don't know where, just get your phone, get the LinkedIn app, and then when you send someone a message, you can see the little voice note button. And then afterwards, you send an email, then a cold call, then a LinkedIn message, then a cold call, then an email, etc., etc. But day 1, day 2, day 3, and then it splits in different, there are different distances in it. So, having said that, every touch point follows the same message. The message that I showed you before when I'm talking about, hey, I know you're growing, that's amazing. Ramp up time is too long. You miss your targets. We can help you with that. I have an idea. Let's talk. What I also found is sometimes it helps a lot, rather than say, let's have a conversation, to say, I have an idea on how to improve your situation. Let's chat, because it's more of an advisor situation rather than a sales call. Just a little side note. So again, with those cadences, the how, we know who we reach out, we know how we reach out. In that how, use the cognitive psychology to make it remembered. So next thing is the what. Cold calling, honestly, about cold calling, I can do a whole session in and of itself, and I see the time. I know I'm running out of time. So I'm going to go through an email, how to do a cold email, and you can literally recycle that script for your cold call. So with an email, I'm not sure if you ever did that, but have you ever looked at the analysis of how emails are being read? Not written, read. What you can see is there are different so marketing looked into how people read their blogs, how people read their marketing, their marketing emails. So what they found is there are different paragraphs. Paragraph number 1, it needs to be relevant. Why? If you look at the heat map, you can see it's an F. So if you don't hit the relevance at the beginning, then you you will see the person will just like overflow everything and then not even respond. So we want the first paragraph, the first line, to be relevance. The second one is there's a problem and a solution. That's 2 sentences max. And then at the end, you have a CTA. You keep it as short as possible and as relevant as possible. And again, you always come back to what was relevant to who you're reaching out to your main sheet. So looking at how that could look in an actual cold email is like this. You start with paragraph number 1, relevance. You go into paragraph number 2, problem and solution. And the second one is a simple CTA. So if you read it, and if I also recommend every time when you send an email, send it to yourself first, just to see, is it long enough? Does it look like a sales email, or does it look like a genuine email of a trusted advisor? In that case, hey Susan, you're really growing your sales team in Berlin. Awesome. Many people realize during this phase that the ramp up is taking longer than planned and is costing a lot of pipeline time. If you want to get new reps up and running faster without the head of sales having to train everything themselves, I have an idea. Our customers generate up to 20% more pipeline in 4 weeks with sales in DACH. If that sounds interesting, let's find 50 minutes and I'll share some best practices. What do you think? Best regards, Helena. Also, I do apologize about the him. That was an email that I sent to a man. In that case, you can always obviously say herself or themselves, etc., etc. So this is an email that you can use as a framework. So you start with the relevance. First, what is the reason you reach out, and make it really relevant. Don't just say, hi, I'm Helena. Many people realize during the phase of growing, if I cut out the first line, it sounds like an email that I sent to 100,000 other people. But this first part, that makes it a reason to read because it might be relevant to the person. Cool. This is the what. Again, this is message. You can shorten and you can write as a LinkedIn a direct message. You can call the person, make it super, like you can even shorten it more and do it on a cold call opener. With a cold call, one big thing that I highly recommend that you follow, 3 questions that you answer within less than 15 seconds. Number 1, who are you? I'm Helena from Sales in DACH. Number 2, why are you reaching out? I saw you growing. Really, really cool. Number 3, what's in it for me? With growth, a lot of teams don't hit target because they can't support the training. So I wanted to reach out to you to take that away off your table, to give you more time. Those 3 questions. Let's have a chat. Do you want to hear what I have to say about great ideas for how to make it more relevant? Awesome. This has been literally the system in a nutshell. One last thing though that I want to cover is why. Why has nothing to do with your prospect. Why has everything to do with yourself. Why do you do what you do? And that is the key difference between what great performers do compared to low performers. And that is just understanding yourself. Everyone in sales will hit a wall at some point. Everyone will have those days when they're not motivated, when they fall over and over again, when they just can't get out of the hole. What I have learned as an actor is analyzing characters. And I started using that specific technique on myself as well. The first thing when you feel like you're losing it, you're losing your motivation, is go back to the facts. What are the facts in your life? Where you're coming from? Do you have siblings? Do you have, like, what do your parents do? Where did you grow up? Where do you live right now? Who's your best friend's name? What do they do? Etc. 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 Facts, something that you can't interpret. Then from there you go to what others say about you. About you. Just go into, my dad always said I'm a sunshine. My sisters, I have two older sisters, so growing up, they obviously didn't want me to join the party. So what I heard a lot was, you're annoying, don't come, you're not welcome. All of this are thoughts that will pop up when you're stressed, when you're in the deep, deep hole. And you need to know about those thoughts. And then you go in, what do you say about yourself? Based on these belief systems that you've gathered over years and years of time, you want to understand which one have you really taken on and which one do you have to change. Because I know now I'm not annoying. I am welcome. I am important. But why do I know this? Because I spent some time understanding what thoughts pop up when I'm stressed, what thoughts limit me the most. And then from there, once you tidy this and really start with facts, what others say about you, what do you say about yourself? And then you go into the goals question. What are your goals? And for that, turn on music as loudly as possible and just imagine a world where time, money, and circumstances do not play a role. Everything is possible. You can be an astronaut. That question, answer it truthfully, feel it, get that picture in your mind, because it's easier to be pulled by a picture than to push for something that you don't even know why you're doing what you're doing. Amazing. I think my time is out now. I really, really hope you got as much value out of this as possible. Again, if you have any questions, please do reach out to me. I am always available. And otherwise, enjoy the next session. Bye.